Pride. Over the weekend, you couldn't miss it. Millions of people across the country protesting for the No Kings event. And this Sunday, there's another protest happening. It's the annual People's March and Rally. Drag queen and activist Juanita MORE and drag king and activist Alex Ewan are behind this event once again. They join us live in studio. Happy Pride to both of you.
Happy Pride to you, too.
Good morning.
Tis the season, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Both of you look amazing, as always. Thank you for turning it out this early in the morning. Alex, let me start with you. This Sunday, what's the message?
We're going to continue the message everybody's been trying to do, which is joy. Let's bring queer joy. Let's keep our resistance and make sure that our rights are being heard and our voices are being heard. But let's do it in a joyful manner. Do not let them take away our joy.
All right. I think that's important to say because I was having a conversation with someone yesterday and they were saying, look, Reggie, what's the tone of Pride this year? And we were talking about it as station people. You know, how do we present this to the public and get them to come out to these things? And so hearing joy, I think it's important to say that because certainly there's lots of challenges out there.
Absolutely.
But there is a certain protest and joy, isn't there, Juanita?
Yeah, there is. And representation. We need to be out there. We need people to see us, that we are just doing our thing every day.
Yeah.
That's it.
And Juanita, you've been in this community for a long time. Why did you think it was important over the past few years to get involved with this other march? I mean, obviously we have the Pride Parade that's coming up, right? And ABC7 is a proud media sponsor of that. Yeah. I'll be hosting it once again. But why do this other march?
We started this march in 2005, right?
2004.
Four, right. The year of George Floyd's murder. It was also the year of COVID starting. So we just felt another need to get on the street and be present and be vocal and let people see us and let them know we're here. Alex has been just amazing to work with on this project. We've known each other for a long time. So we got out there and we got our voices out and we've had great response from the community. This is the part that I love about the People's March. The community has said, this feels like Pride. We're on the original route of the original Pride Parade, which came down Polk Street. And
so it starts where on Polk Street?
We start Polk and Washington is where we start the rally. So we'll have speakers there, and then we're going to head down Polk towards City Hall.
And I think it's important to look at the history of this too. So when you say the original, you're talking about 1970, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
And just a really quick history lesson, I'm not going to bog you down, but 1969 was the Stonewall riot. Yep. So this is a New York City bar, and people were just sick and tired of being raided by police. So this was an uprising against the police in 1969 in New York. 1970, the first year that San Francisco gets involved and honors that date. That's why we have Pride in June.
68's the Compton riots here.
Right, 68. And then 70 here was on Polk Street.
Right.
So that's why we come down the original route.
So important to know, if you're not familiar with the Compton cafeteria riots, that predates Stonewall. Everybody knows about Stonewall.
Yeah.
Even people in San Francisco don't know about the Compton cafeteria riots.
That's right.
Similar idea to Stonewall, but we're talking about trans individuals and drag queens who are in a cafeteria and, again...
In the Tenderloin, yep.
In the Tenderloin, tired of being raided by police officers, harassed, hurt, and decided we're not taking it anymore and started to throw some things.
That's right.
Right?
Yeah.
We're not going to throw things on Sunday.
We are not.
No, we are not. It's a peaceful march.
Who do you want to come out to this? Who do you think needs to hear this message? Because there are some folks who are always going to come out and support, but there are some people who may not be hearing the message. So who do you want to see this weekend?
Well, like you said, we always have the same folks. So we have progressive officials, we have faith leaders, we have teachers, we have immigrants, we have artists, we have us. What we need is the folks who don't respect our transgender families, who don't respect all of us who are on the queer spectrum. We need those people to start looking at the intersection of what they're going through with all the other cuts and et cetera that is happening to them. So therefore, we should all be doing this together to fight the administration and give us our rights back and make sure that we can do it, in our terms and not being taken away from us. And so with that said, If we can all come together and work in unity, no matter whether you're from the queer spectrum or you're from straight life, we will have a better chance of success. And we need their voices heard too, because they're struggling. Some of these administration cuts, seniors, veterans, et cetera, are hitting them. So there was no list that the people who voted for him was on. We're all on that same list, so everybody's going to be affected.
And Juanita, I'll give you the last word because I'm curious what you have to say to this. We live in a place where often we're in protected spaces here in San Francisco, which is wonderful for us. Mm-hmm. But there may be someone who is watching this who isn't a part of that. Mm-hmm. And they may have questions and want to have a conversation, and they may be resistant to the message that you all have. So what would you say to that person who wants to have a conversation with you about what's happening right now?
I am ready to have that conversation. I was born and raised in East Bay. I've been here all my adult life, and this has definitely been a safe space for me. And I've helped create that safe space for others. So, yeah, I'm open to that conversation always.
Yeah, I think that's good to get out there, right?
Yeah.
It's very important.
We can't be afraid to talk to each other,
Yeah.
even if we may disagree sometimes, in a respectful manner, of course.
Of course.
You know, Reggie, I have this hat. It's a red hat, and it says, "Make racism wrong again." And I had it on yesterday in a restaurant, and this guy opened the door, and he stopped. And he said to me, "I wasn't going to come in here, but I had to see what that hat said because you were of color, and I wasn't quite sure what your message was." And when it said that, he sat down and had a whole conversation with me.
Really?
He voted for Trump. And so...
And you were willing to have that conversation?
And we had that conversation, and we walked out of there hugging each other.
Did you?
We did.
That's how revolution starts.
Yeah.
Thank you to the both of you for being here.
Absolutely.
Appreciate talking
Pleasure,
to you.
always.
Good luck this weekend, and happy Pride.
Happy Pride to you, too.
And again, the People's March and Rally is Sunday. It starts at 11 a.m. on the corner of Polk and Washington Streets here in San Francisco. More details at JuanitaMORE.com. And I'll be seeing both of you soon.
Yay, thank you.
We are the exclusive broadcast partner for San Francisco.